Hey there, guys, and welcome back to a brand new FlickPick live show. It's been a while. I sort of forgot how to do this. I don't even know where I'm at right now, but nevertheless, I have a caffeinated beverage. I hope you do too, and thank you so much for joining me once again, where we can just hang out. Hopefully, you guys have some popcorn, something delicious to drink or eat. Either one. I'm ready to go. Let me take a sip of this real quick. It feels so good. But yeah, as usual, I have one main topic I want to talk about, or more or less rant about, and then we'll dive into whatever you guys want to talk about, and I will answer your questions. But the first question does relate directly to what I want to talk about, and it's the title of this video, and it's from Max Nugenbauer, and he says, "Hey John, I thought Fast 9 was good, but it was kind of disappointing because it didn't work as well as the last few. Furious 7 is still the best one." Okay, so let's talk about Fast and Furious, the franchise. Now, the other day, I watched the first Fast and Furious from 2001, and I've always really enjoyed that movie. Why? Well, it's essentially the Point Break remake. Instead of surfers robbing banks, you have street racers robbing semi-trucks and stealing VCRs. And with all that said, do you guys remember a simpler time in life, when it was just a group of street racers stealing VCRs out of the back of trucks? That's all they were doing. And sure, family tied everything together. I get it, Vin Diesel, I understand. But now, in the newest Fast and Furious movie, Fast 9, they're flying into space. The rules of logic and gravity no longer apply. Everyone's a superhero with a really fast car that has NOS. And I like big dumb action movies. I really do. I truly do. There's something just so pure, and there's this great element of escapism. But the new Fast and Furious movies, they literally hurt my brain. They hurt me inside. And they're almost the shining prime example of everything wrong with Hollywood. It's just regurgitated baby food put into a blender for easy mass consumption. It's a big bloated mess of trash and garbage. And I just, for the last 3 days, I have tried. I have struggled. I have woken up in the morning and I'm like, I'm going to go see Fast 9. I'm going to go see it. You don't want to. I don't want to, but I'm going to go do it just for something to talk about on YouTube. And every time the showtime gets closer and closer, and I just start like looking at it, it starts eating away at me like an obligation. And I'm like, I can't willingly pay money to watch that into a theater. And then part of me is like, well, maybe you should buy tickets to something else and then go see Fast 9. But then I just think like 2 hours of my life will be dedicated to watching John Cena terribly act with cars flying through space, and I can't do it. It just feels like one of the newer Transformers movies, where it just feels like constant noise on a screen. Bombastic, loud noise. So anyway, that's probably why I will never, ever watch the new Fast 9 movie. Now, with all that said, though, I do enjoy the first Fast and Furious movie. I saw Fast 2 in the theaters, like Too Fast, Too Furious, like 5 times when it came out. Not because I liked it, just because there was no other great movies to see during the summertime, and all my friends wanted to go see it. It was a long time ago. And then I thought when the franchise went a different direction where everyone became superheroes, I thought Fast 5 was the perfect blend of everything. Like, sure, it's over the top, it's a little bit crazy, but there was still some substance. There was still like a level of like reality there by the end of that movie where I'm like, okay, they're stealing a safe, they're dragging it behind their cars. Like, this is somewhat plausible. So I thought Fast 5 was the perfect culmination of like going over the top, but still staying true to what made Fast and Furious Fast and Furious. And then everything after that just slowly trickled into like, it felt like a Michael Bay movie on crack and heroin. And so, yeah, that's why I can't willingly watch the new Fast 9 movie. And I haven't even heard anyone say it's good. Like, I've truly never heard anyone say, yeah, I liked that movie. I have not heard one person say that on the internet yet. Maybe you're out there. Maybe it's you're watching. But if that's your opinion, please share it right now down below. Those are my quick thoughts on the Fast 9 movie. And with all that said, I'm actually going to see it tomorrow. I'm kidding. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe I will. I do need to do a new movie review, and maybe it'll give me a reason to rant. Because that's what I feel like doing. I just feel like complaining and being angry. I feel like that makes reviews so much easier. I just hope it's so bad it gives me a reason to complain. Like, if it's just middle of the road, like, what am I really going to say about it? So anyway, guys, nevertheless, if you guys are just joining in, now's the time we can talk about whatever you guys want to, because I'm bored. I have nothing better to do, and it's been a while, and I missed you. So let's go to the next question here. Joshua Garrison says, I'm glad you're doing this tonight. It's my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Joshua Garrison. Happy birthday to you, buddy. I hope you blew out your candles and all your dreams do come true. Carter Lovejoy. I just got accepted into a film camp starting in 3 weeks, and I'll be learning about film editing and hopefully some screenwriting and directing. Wish me all the luck. Well, good luck, man. Good luck, and I hope you enjoy it, man. That sounds really cool. It sounds a lot better than the summer camp I went to. I just had creepy camp counselors, and I remember we jumped in the lake one day, and we got yelled at by some old man in the woods. I don't know who he was. He just yelled at us. Anyway. I think I just described one of the Friday the 13th films. Let's go to the next one. Brevins Flicks and Games just reviewed F9, and the franchise has now become a Saturday morning cartoon. I'm just waiting for Black Widow, and I'm sure you agree with me on this. Yeah, it seems like everyone got early screenings to Black Widow, and I do have that ability, but I didn't even think about it for like the last week. Just things have been so hectic. I'm actually moving next week. 4th of July is coming up. A lot of other things were happening. And I know it comes out in a couple of weeks, so I didn't think the press screenings would go out so early, but I guess they did, and I missed it. I'm a little bit angry about that, but maybe I can get into a last second one slightly early. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Black Widow. I mean, I'm looking forward to Black Widow a lot more than Fast 9, I'll put it that way. Claudia Rogajan. So Fast 9, I didn't know how you could make one of these movies boring, but they managed to do it. Fast 5 is still the best. I agree with you. Yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, fast cars, defying gravity, action scenes. You have this ensemble cast of like likable action stars like Jason Statham. You have, I guess The Rock's not in here, but Vin Diesel. And it's just like, how do you make it so boring and bad? I mean, I haven't watched Fast 9 yet. Like I said, I don't want to, but if I do, well, actually I don't want to. Here's the honest truth with you. When it came to the pandemic that we were living in, with this movie continuously getting delayed, I was sort of like happy about that. I was like, if we just delay it 6 more months, I don't have to watch it for 6 more months. When they delayed this originally back like over a year ago, I was like, I'm okay with that. Thank you. Let's go push it 5 years. Let's just be safe. But yeah. Tyler Van, best and worst Farrelly Brothers movie. I think Kingpin is truly underrated. I'd say that's one of their better movies. Honestly, I know most people wouldn't say that's their top pick, but I would say that's my favorite. My least favorite is probably, what was the movie with Matt Damon? Was it called Stuck on You? Was that the movie? Where they were Siamese twins? That was terrible. I'd say those two. But if you've never seen Kingpin, go watch it right now. Such a good movie. And plus, I like movies about bowling. Like The Big Lebowski, Kingpin. I mean, there's really only 2 movies made about bowling, but nevertheless, they're 2 great movies. Night King 01. I think I've become dumber after watching this. Vin Diesel rides a truck while it's sliding upside down, flips it over, and then crashes into a plane. I thought I misread that, but I read it correctly. And now we're all dumber for me reading that out loud to you. Let's go to the next question. Michael Parton. What are your thoughts on the new Conjuring movie? I liked it. I didn't think it was as effective as the first 2. Let me tell you about the Conjuring movie, The Devil Made Me Do It. I watched the first half of the movie. It just felt like a standard by the numbers movie, just shit out of Hollywood. That's how it felt. But I did notice, and the other thing is the opening scene, there was just too much CG with the little kid who's being possessed. He just looked like a CGI, like little piece of rubber. Like he looked like a little rubber toy moving around on the screen. And that instantly took me out of it because sometimes, especially when it comes to horror films, I always have been the mindset less is always more. So that instantly took me out of it. Plus that little kid in the opening scene looked like young Corey Feldman For some odd reason, that was the scariest part about the whole movie. I didn't watch the second half of The Conjuring, made me do it just because I just didn't care. I just truly did not care. I think I got busy too. J Val, is the Batman still your most anticipated movie? I just saw pictures of Colin Farrell as Penguin. I don't know. I think he looks damn good as Penguin. You can't tell it's him. He definitely gained the weight. He looks like the Penguin. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's probably one of my most anticipated movies. I really truly can't think of another movie I'm more hyped about right now other than the Batman. I just hope it's good. There's no excuse to make a bad Batman movie. I mean, trust me, we've gotten those. But in my opinion, it's like when you have the perfect character, the perfect dynamic, and like, how do you make that bad? So anyway, and then we got Batman and Robin. Monster Junkie. Hey, John. Your thoughts on Scary Stories to Watch in the Dark? I just recently watched it, and it's very creepy. Lately, I've been in the mood for horror movies. I watched that. I thought it was okay. Not one of my favorites. It felt a little too PG to me, like PG-13. It felt like something that, I honestly felt like there were scarier episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark when I was a kid. Something about that was even more eerie to me. Which, by the way, weren't we supposed to get a movie, Are You Afraid of the Dark movie? Or was that a thing? Because I would love to see that. Anyway, what was the question here? Oh, yeah. I thought that movie I saw it in theaters a long time ago. It was a really bad theater experience because everyone was talking. That's what I remember most about the movie, unfortunately. But I have seen it. I thought it was okay. But yeah, thanks for the question, Monster Junkie. I would say go watch other movies. Like, some of my favorite, if you're in the mood for horror movies, I don't know if you're in the mood for, 1980s movies or modern day movies, but, go watch, the first Nightmare on Elm Street. They just can't make movies like that anymore. There's something just so gritty and nasty about that movie. Ugh. Age of the Keyboard Warrior. Popcorn is sheet, and theaters are still dead. Well, on a positive note, I remember when it was fun to see Marvel movies. What's happening, John? Sigh. No, listen, take comfort in, we're not changing. We're not changing. We still enjoy quality, well-made, crafted films that are great escapism. That's what we want. We're just not getting those as often as we should. But no, most of the Marvel movies coming out don't get me all that excited, to be honest. I just feel like, because right now it's sort of like Marvel's B team stepping up to the plate, and they have yet to truly prove themselves. But the new Spider-Man movie looks like it could possibly easily be the best Spider-Man movie ever made, because if the rumors are true, and I hope they are, it sounds like they're throwing everything they humanly can into this movie, which gets me excited. So other than that, there's not a lot of other things happening in the Marvel universe right now that gets me excited. But, every once in a while we get that gem of a good movie that's just like a nice surprise. Like the last time I was in a theater and I watched an original movie that truly just took me where I wanted to go was probably Parasite. I would say Parasite was the last movie that truly blew me away in the theater. That was unexpected. All right, the next one comes from Carter Lovejoy. F7 should have been the end to the series, in my opinion. I mean, that would have been the logical conclusion, right? I mean, it's like they salvaged what they could based on real-life events that were tragic, and they did what they could, and that would have been a nice send-off for everyone. But you know what? It's called money. Hollywood doesn't give a shit about a sentimental send-off. They want some more fucking money for their pockets. Give it to us. We want it. Family. No, fuck family. It's about money. So that's what happened. But it's not like I disagree with you. The next one comes from Landon. John, where are you moving? I'm moving to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I've lived before. It's where I made YouTube videos up until 2016, and then I moved. And then I moved again, then I moved again, and then I moved again, and now I'm going back. So I'm going back to where I'm from. I did one big loop of mistakes. Power Within and some text, I don't know what they mean. Hey, John, I failed my driving test earlier today. Well, the good news is you can go take another one. I actually failed my first driving test as well. I did not fail the actual driving test, but I failed the written exam the first time. But what I did, now I'm a clever guy and I always think 2 steps ahead. Hear me out. So I went to one DMV branch where I had to take the written test. I failed it by like 1 question. I was like, oh shit. So what I did is I had my mom drive across town to another branch the same day, and I took another written exam and I passed that one because I know what I failed on the first one, and then I passed and got my license. So I don't think you're supposed to do that in the same day, but either way, they printed out my driver's license and I was good to go. So, but you'll get it, man. Don't worry. Claudia Rojan, you and me have a soft spot for Tokyo Drift, and I know who also does. The one, the only Christopher Nolan, his favorite. In fact, this is not a joke. I don't believe that second part of that, but I like to pretend it's true. Yeah, Tokyo Drift is not a good movie. Any movie with Little Bow Wow where he has any sort of role or performance as an actor is probably not a very good movie. But with all that said, I do enjoy Tokyo Drift as a guilty pleasure. It's so different from the rest of the franchise. And that's what I like about it. I like how it has like the one dude who was like, he was a kid in Sling Blade and he goes off to another like foreign country. And I like the culture of like Tokyo. I think it's like just really interesting. And also, I like the opening scene where they have like the car chase or the race and it's playing like Kid Rock, Ba with the Ba. And I'm just like, that's so like 2000s. I love it. I just remember seeing it back in 2006 when I was in high school. So it's always a guilty pleasure movie for me. Brevins Flicks and Games. I do plan to review more DC movies before the new Suicide Squad, and hopefully it's good. Curious, what's your favorite Richard Donner film? Favorite Richard Donner. There's always a few movies he's done. I always forget because I'm always stuck on like Superman. And I'll be honest with you, I do not like the Superman Richard Donner movies. I just, even as a kid, no, that's Rob. Yeah, okay, The Goonies. Why was I thinking Rob Reiner directed that? Okay, yeah, The Goonies would be my favorite Richard Donner film. Easily The Goonies. Did he direct Conspiracy Theory as well, starring Mel Gibson? Wow, no, produced. So yeah, another movie he directed starring Mel Gibson, and it's actually a really underrated movie no one talks about. But it's a movie called Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, and it's a really good movie from like the late 90s. I highly recommend checking it out. It's one of those movies that just, it flies by the radar. You might watch it on cable one day, but it's so well done and crafted. Go watch Conspiracy Theory. That's my recommendation to you guys. And real quick, before I forget, because I already did, by the way, we had a winner for the last giveaway on the last live stream. If you were watching, and I hope you were, I was giving away Justice Society World War II on 4K, and the winner of that, because they put a comment down below, was Jake Warren, who said, "Roses are red, violets are blue, send me the Justice Society World War II." So Jake, if you're watching, within the next couple of days, send me an email to the email address in the description, and tell me your name and your address, and I'll send that bad boy out to you. So there you go, man. Congratulations. I just lost all the questions. Okay, let's keep going here. But yeah, real quick, back to Brevin's question. Yeah, good luck with the reviewing all the DC movies, man. I hope the new Suicide Squad is also good. Excuse me. The trailer honestly doesn't look that great to me. Like, I think it's going to be more like a real movie than the last Abomination that we got, but the trailer honestly doesn't get me that excited. But King Shark, voiced by Sly Stallone, intrigues me. But yeah, it looks okay. I do want to watch it, though, which we can just watch on HBO Max. We don't even have to go to the theater. Fidel Reyes, or Fidel Reyes. I'm going to call you Fidel Reyes. I hated Fast 8 and Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, I sort of hated Hobbs and Shaw. Well, I didn't hate it. I was pleasantly surprised, but it still was like a bloated piece of shit. So I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised, but it was still a bloated piece of shit. That's my recommendation. Put that quote on the back of the box. And Fast 8, everything after Fast 5 just blends together to me. It all feels like the same movie, other than the farewell scene to CGI Paul Walker. I thought Fast 9 wasn't as bad as 8, but that's not a compliment either. Vin Diesel needs to stop producing his movies. I think the producer credit that Vin Diesel's getting on these movies is very loose. It's very loose, to say the least. I would say that, but at the same time, I think he's just happy to be in movies. And by the way, I can't look at Vin Diesel right now. I don't want to see him in a movie, like with like a wife beater on, like flexing his muscles. I just can't look at him like that. I don't know why. I think we're past that at this point. Joshua Garrison, what horror movie are you most looking forward to coming up? I mean, Halloween Kills. I'm looking forward to it. My expectations are low. The trailer made it look like an action movie. Like, it looked like an action movie where, like, Michael Myers is getting vengeance or something. Like Taken Part 4, The Revenge of Michael Myers. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, I would say, is the next one. I'm trying to think any other horror movies coming out. What else is coming out that's, like, a really good horror movie? I can't even think. That's the next one I would say. Benny, have you seen the FX show Wilfred? Please watch it. Is that where the guy plays a dog? I think I might have seen like one episode, if that's even what we're talking about. I might have seen an episode or two. Max Nugenbauer, I'm excited for Snake Eyes. I love the first two, especially Rise of Cobra. I know you don't like it, but I think it's super underrated. I don't think underrated is the proper term to go with. I think both movies are truly terrible. But I have this odd fascination with watching the first G.I. Joe movie. Like, it's just so oddly made and bizarre where I'm like, I can't stop looking at it. I'm like, this is kind of weird and sexy at times, but like, at the same time, it's repulsive to really look at. Like, it's such a terrible movie. Like, the script is one of the worst scripts ever written. Like, Channing Tatum wanted to get out of the second movie so bad, but they just wouldn't quite let him. So yeah, as far as the Snake Eyes movie goes, did I watch the trailer for that? Maybe I did. Like, talk about a movie no one asked for, but we're getting. It's so odd to me. Like, rather than make a good G.I. Joe movie, we're getting a spin-off movie from the bad G.I. Joe movies that no one talks about. So, once again, Hollywood, it's mind-boggling. Now, they could do like a reboot or redo the G.I. Joe franchise and probably make it really cool if they actually like had like a throwback to like the true 1980s vibe, and I think that would be really neat. But the current direction they're going, not really a big fan. Greg Z, you look like you got a nice tan. What were you doing outside? Don't ask me, man. I don't know. I went on some walks. I think maybe it's just the lighting or something that's making me look tan or orangey or whatever. I don't know. But I wasn't outside that much, to be honest with you. I think it's the lighting. We'll go with the lighting. And thanks for the question, Greg Z. Oh, hi, Mark. Ever see Street Kings with Keanu? Street Kings. Have I seen Street Kings? Yes. Yes. That was that written by David Ayer or produced or directed or something? It was one of those movies I wanted to be better than it was, and it was just like instantly forgettable because I like movies like that. Another movie that sort of reminds me of Street Kings, because I like movies about like detectives in LA, and some of the detectives are a little bit dirty or seedy. But there's a movie called Harsh Times, and I believe it's directed by David Ayer. I believe it is, or written. It's definitely written by him. And it stars Christian Bale, and that is such an underrated movie. Go watch Harsh Times. You look, you got little bitch feet, dog, or else I'd steal your shoes. Such a good movie. But anyway, good cast as well. Shitfire, if you don't wear them as you ride up, it defeats the purpose. Was that a quote from it? I don't know. Did my mouse just... Okay, all right. This mouse usually dies. All right, Tyson Sherborne. Did you see A Quiet Place 2? Love the vids. I did see A Quiet Place 2. I talked about this on the last few live streams. I probably should have reviewed the movie and done my job. But I did talk about it. And I did like it. I saw it in Cleveland at a press screening, and the cool thing after the screening of the movie at Quiet Place 2 was John Krasinski came out and did a Q&A, which was really neat. So yeah, I did enjoy Quiet Place 2. I think the first one was way better. And there's still some elements of A Quiet Place 2 that you really have to turn your brain off because you're like, that doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. Why would they do that just to do this? Like, why did they not think? So the little things like that, but nevertheless, I enjoyed it. It was definitely a solid movie with some nice suspense. Owen Movies 75. Isn't Ed and Lorraine the cutest horror couple? I would not agree with that. I think Nancy and Freddie are the cutest horror couple. But Ed and Lorraine Warren, I actually find both their characters extremely unlikable. I don't know why, just there's nothing about either character that I'm like, I want to see more. Or like, oh, I hope they survive this. Maybe that's just me. Michael Parton. Dark Horse Comics are Image Comics. I'm trying to think. What has Image Comics? What's under their banner? Dark Horse? I'd go with Dark Horse if I had to pick one. I'm not a huge comic book guy, man. I haven't really read comic books since I was in like elementary school, so. Sonic Blu-ray. A Clockwork Orange is 50 this year. Ever seen it? Of course I've seen A Clockwork Orange. That movie, every time I've watched it once, it's definitely one of those movies I don't ever want to rewatch. Like, there's just certain scenes in that movie where you're like, oh, I want to eat popcorn and watch this tonight. Like, I don't think anyone's ever said that about A Clockwork Orange. Probably not. Yeah. It's definitely not one of my favorite Stanley Kubrick films. I've seen it once. I think I own the Blu-ray back there somewhere. And I thought the one time watching it was sufficient. I really do. But that was probably, last time I saw it was probably like 2010 or 11. I probably talked about it in like an old Blu-ray movie update video or something. Gino Rodriguez. Hey, John, just thought LG... Oh, let me read this correctly now. Hey, John, just bought a LG OLED C1 65-inch. Just watched The Big Lebowski. This is what happens when you F a stranger in the butt. Any recommendations? By the way, nice tan, John. Thanks, man. Thank you for that. Thank you. This is my midlife crisis tan. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your OLED, man. Did you watch The Big Lebowski in 4K? I hope you did. Well, hey, man, there's a beverage here. Yeah, it's really complicated. There's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. Some other 4K movies you need to watch. Other than like the obvious big epic movies, Gladiator for me on 4K was sexy. That's the kind of like 4K experience I like to enjoy, just like an epic time period movie. That's a good one. I'll tell you one movie coming to 4K soon is Taxi Driver on 4K. That's one of the best Blu-ray transfers I've ever seen. It truly looks like a film when you watch it. So I can only imagine what the 4K is going to look like. Whatever you do, just never buy Terminator 2 Judgment Day on 4K. I don't care if you never watch another thing that I ever do on YouTube. Just hear me out and listen closely and listen up. Don't you ever buy Terminator 2 Judgment Day on 4K. My favorite action movie of all time. But when I watch that 4K transfer, it literally disgusts me. It disgusts me. Let's continue. Skateboarding versus movies. If you were a serial killer, what do you mean, what if? What type of people would you hunt and how would you kill them? Also, your nickname in the news. It'd probably be called, I don't know, I hope they call me the Flick Pick. That'd be my name. Because what I do is I go to a movie theater and I select one person and I follow them home. And that's where the fun begins. I don't know. Why do we have to be weird? But that's what I would do. And I have. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. Okay, the next one comes from Alex Carr. John Cena just seems like a random audition addition to F9, which I don't plan on watching either. Well, good for you, man. Speaking of random, Vin Diesel's film The Pacifier, which I watched yesterday, is probably one of the most random. By random, do you mean one of the worst movies ever made in the history of cinematic? Anything? Yes. The Pacifier. I watched 14 seconds of that one time on cable and almost vomited in my mouth. Yeah, John Cena. I don't feel like John Cena entices me to want to watch F9 at all. At all. It just feels like they got John Cena because Mark Wahlberg didn't want to do it. Michael Parton. One of my all-time favorite guilty pleasure films is Josie and the Pussycats from 2001. I even have the soundtrack. I'm trying to think. I feel like maybe did I see that? I don't think I saw that movie. That's an interesting guilty pleasure, though, man. I'm all about the weird guilty pleasures, but that's just not one of mine. I'm trying to think if I've ever even seen it. I don't think I have. But I can picture the cover, though, for some odd reason. Beach Bum 0331. Everything you need to know about Hollywood, you can learn from Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Oh, absolutely. That is the truth. That is truth. I do agree with that. By the way, speaking of Tom Cruise, I feel like he's the most disingenuous person on the planet. That's just my thoughts. Okay, let's go to the next one. No, we're at Fidel Reyes. Nolan has actually spoken about Tokyo Drift. Haha. Has he really? Did someone ask him and he just like blew it off with some random answer? Or is that a real thing? I need to research this. Please confirm if that's real. Potted Plant Entertainment, thoughts on The Big Lebowski. I just watched it actually a few weeks ago on Netflix. I own the 4K, but I watched it on Netflix because it was so convenient. I wish I had a friend like Walter, played by John Goodman, in The Big Lebowski. I wish I had a friend that was that high strung, but also reliable and has your back. That is a true friend. I love The Big Lebowski. It's almost near perfect and timeless. Like, that movie always takes me to a happy place every time I watch it. So yeah, I love it. Claudia Rojan. Look up the interview. It's real. Chris Nolan says he's a fan of the franchise. He also likes Alien 3. And John, if you like Tokyo Drift, just say it. I have said it. I said it minutes ago. I said I loved it. I said it was one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of all time. I don't know about that, but I do sort of. If it was on Netflix right now, I'd probably go watch it. I probably would. I kind of feel like watching it now. Mason Arnold. How do you feel about Suicide Squad lineup for the movie? Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Diablo, Captain Cold, Livewire, Man-Bat, played by Steve Buscemi. Oh, Steve Buscemi's playing Man-Bat? I didn't know that. I don't know a lot about the movie, honestly. I just knew Sly Stallone was playing King Shark, and of course, Margot Robbie was coming back as Harley Quinn, which is the best thing about all of those movies. I like the lineup. Yeah, I mean, I have hopes for it. I think they're gonna at least like try to continue it and do something else as far as like a franchise goes, which excites me. I was really disappointed in the execution of Killer Croc in the previous movie because I've always liked that character, and I thought he was just so underwhelming in the previous movie. But yeah, that sounds like a good lineup. Corey Feldman. Hey guys, it's Corey Feldman. Thanks for the shout out. Glad you're a fan of mine. What new pickups did you get? Well, speaking of new pickups, they're all downstairs. So I do actually have new Blu-rays to talk about with you guys. I do. I left them downstairs, so what I will do in a few seconds is I'll take a break. I'll go grab them, and we'll talk about some new movies I picked up or that were sent to me over the last couple weeks. Monster Junkie. Hey, John. Is it bad to triple dip on a movie you really like? I bought Sicario 3 times, twice for Steelbooks and once for the 4K. No, and listen to this. That's all I do. I buy the same 40 movies over and over because those are the movies I like and I love and I need them. So what I keep doing is every time they upgrade in resolution and picture quality on a different optical disc, I buy that. I've done it with Gladiator. I've done it with Terminator 2. I mean, there's multiple movies I've done it with. All my favorite movies. I went from DVD to Blu-ray to 4K. It's okay. I mean, it's almost a disease in a way. It's almost like a weird addiction, but you just want the best possible resolution for your eyeballs when you watch that great movie. And that's okay. That's understandable. Not everyone's going to understand it, but as long as you're happy, that's all that counts. So yeah, trust me, I do it as well. And also, when it comes to companies selling you shit, they're selling you the same thing over and over again. We just keep buying it. So, Rocky Balboa, thoughts on Basketball Diaries? I've seen that movie once where Leonardo DiCaprio is addicted to like crack or heroin, and I just vividly remember the scene. I think, isn't there a scene where Mark Wahlberg has like a daydream and there's like a school, I can't say the words on YouTube, but there's like a weird daydream sequence that takes place in a school and there's something. I always thought that was crazy. I remember that scene. I also remember the scene where the old man is trying to get Leonardo DiCaprio to get off drugs and go cold turkey. So he has to like lock him in a room. I remember that. So yeah, I've seen it once. It was okay. Alex Carr. Another bloated Vin Diesel movie was Bloodshot. The movie was only in theaters for like 3 days, but it was kind of fun, just super cheesy. I could not bring myself to watch that either. Something about that Bloodshot movie looked like it belonged in 1997. Like it just looked like a 1997 comic book movie. Like even the CG looked similar. And I never watched it, and I probably never will. Brevins, Flicks, and Games. I recently wanted to tell you this. The best Father's Day moment I had with my dad was laughing our asses off watching Trolls 2. Need to review it. Yeah, go review it, man. I've never seen it. But yeah, I remember some of the best. I remember like as a kid growing up, I would, speaking of like dad moments in movies, every weekend I'd go to my dad's house because my parents were divorced. That's what's wrong with me, by the way. And we would go see a new movie that weekend at the theater, and that's where I discovered so many great movies. Like I remember watching Lion King. I remember watching True Lies, Blank Check, Last Action Hero, like a slew of other movies, like rated R movies especially, because like my parents didn't hold back on me. But yeah, those were like my fondest memories as a kid. Night King 01. You know, I think the writer of the last 6 Fast and Furious movies actually somewhat understood the formula. These writers basically made a parody. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what's happening is they figured out the less we try, the more money we make. So now they're really not trying. Like the most nonsensical bullshit just means hundreds of millions of dollars. Because that's what that's what general audiences want to see. They don't want to see thought-provoking things. No, they want to see Vin Diesel looking like a baked potato driving a car into space. That's what they want to see. And that's what they're going to get. Cyrus C. Always grateful for your videos. More power to you. Well, thanks, Cyrus, man. Thank you for that. Thanks for that. It means a lot, buddy. Just JDD24. Hey, John. Best scene from a movie that has no dialogue. Best scene from a movie that has no dialogue? That's tough. There's a lot of scenes in the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks where he's on the island and his emotions and his expressions just tell everything that you need to without dialogue. And I sort of always enjoyed movies that don't have a ton of dialogue. I like movies where you just have one singular character. So they're sort of alone, and it's almost like a weird sense of voyeurism when you're watching them. But like a movie like Castaway, when I watch that, and I watch it often, it truly relaxes me. I'm trying to think of like a particular scene where there's no dialogue, or where he's not talking to Wilson at all. I don't know. I would just say any part of where he's on the island. We got more videotape. Where he's making the ropes for the raft. I love that. Oh, hi, Mark. Hey, John, you could use your tan to fit the dialogue for American Psycho when Bill and Lito are in the restaurant. Really great tan, Marcus. Sir, would you like to know the appetizers? Not if you want to keep your spleen. Absolutely. Thank you. Darkside Master just became a member. Yay! Thank you, Darkside Master, for becoming a member. Thank you for that. And at the end of the live show, I will open it up to members, and feel free to chime in and ask whatever you guys want to, because now I can see your little icon beside your name, and it makes it so much easier. Elliot Cecil. John, will you be doing a review of Black Widow? Yes, I will. I didn't get a press screening, or at least I missed out on the press screening, and the movie comes out in a couple weeks, so I'm moving the first week of July, so hopefully around that time I should be able to do it and go see the movie. If not, I'm at a point where, like, rather than do a sit-down review of a movie with, like, the great lighting and the audio, I almost just want to start recording reviews in front of the movie theater after the movie's over. I'm almost getting to a point where I almost want to just start doing that, because it'll be more raw and visceral. Would you guys like to see that? Let me know. James Doshier. Hey, John. Hope you're doing great. Well, James, thanks. And I'm doing okay, man. I hope you're doing well. I'm sort of overwhelmed right now. I got a lot to get done and very little time to do it. And it's my fault because I pushed it all off and procrastinated way too long. But thanks, man. I'm doing okay. I can't complain too much. Nev Soul, thoughts on Steel Magnolias and Pretty Woman? Steel Magnolia... Steel Magnolia, isn't that... That's the Tom Cruise... What? Right? That's the Tom Cruise movie? That came out like 1998? Oh, no, this is... what the fuck was I... What was I thinking of? Steel Magnolias? I've never seen this. I never watched this TV show from '89. What was the other part of this question? What was the other part of your question here? Oh, and Pretty Woman. But I did just watch Pretty Woman. There's nothing I enjoy more in life than a hooker with a heart of gold. So yeah, I did watch Pretty Woman. Actually, just the other week. I've seen it many times, but it's just like Julia Roberts. I'm sorry, like this is the least true adaptation of like any hooker like story ever made. Like, come on, get out of here. Big mistake. Huge. Yeah, so I do like it. I remember as a kid watching it. Like, I remember my sisters would watch the movie. But yeah, it's okay. You know, it's okay. It's one of those movies, like, after the first half of the movie, I get bored by it. Like, I don't care about, like, her being a normal person. I just want to see, like, the first half. The next one comes from Just a Guy. Fast and Furious looks stupid to me. Just churning in, man. Did you just start? I started like 45 minutes ago, but yeah, thank you for tuning in. We're just getting ready to go, man. We got some time here. James Doshier. Is Predator 2 worth watching? So what I want you to do is go to YouTube and watch, type in Predator. My first time watching Predator 2. I did a movie night. Chris Stuckman and I did a movie night where I watched the movie for the first time. And I give you my thoughts on it. So it's a good, like, rainy day movie. I'll just leave it there. Carter Lovejoy. I heard rumors that Scream, The Addams Family, 1991, Roger Rabbit, and Unbreakable are coming to 4K. Any hype for these? I think Roger Rabbit was confirmed to come to 4K. Maybe I'm mistaken. Unbreakable in 4K would be good. Addams Family, I own it on Blu-ray. It feels sufficient. Scream, I could take it or leave it on Blu-ray's enough. Roger Rabbit would be cool, just because visually it's a movie that I would like to see in like a higher resolution. Put him in the dip. Yeah, I'd say Roger Rabbit and Unbreakable out of those. Michael Parton, what is your favorite TV sitcom? Favorite sitcom? I would say as a kid, probably like Married with Children was always a really good one. I always was like, oh, this is so like raunchy and crazy. And then I would say another one. I would say if you had to pick one sitcom that is the most relatable to me, that's the most similar to like my lifestyle as a kid, I would say Roseanne. Something about Roseanne always reminds me of like my family, or like maybe like my extended family, you know, like my dad's side of the family or something. Like it felt like real life to me, the show Roseanne. It was eerily similar to my own life. But also as a kid, I really enjoyed like Home Improvement with Tim Allen. Mason Arnold. The Suicide Squad lineup I mentioned isn't for the new movie. It's just my personal lineup I came up with. I just really want Steve Buscemi to play Man-Bat. Oh, I was like, yeah, the fuck Man-Bat? Steve Buscemi playing Man-Bat would be interesting. I hope he brings the same demeanor that he brought to Con Air, where he plays like a psychopath, but he's so calm and collected when he's talking. That's what I would like Man-Bat to be. Like he's a big bat, but he's scary, but he just talks so casual. That would be great. That's a good pick, man. Yeah. Hashtag Zero. Hey, John, do you watch AEW or NXT? If you do, what stands out to you most? You're awesome, by the way. I haven't watched any wrestling in quite a while because I just think during the pandemic, unless it has a live audience, it just the spectacle to me is like lost. I did watch WrestleMania. It was sort of underwhelming. But I've been to an AEW show when I lived in Alabama. I went to one. It was okay. I don't watch it on a weekly basis, and I don't watch NXT. So, Lucas Bernowskowitz. I need Better Call Saul season 6 now. You and me both, man. I was binge watching the first 4 seasons on Netflix like a couple months ago. Man, if I was an attorney or a lawyer, I'd hate to say it, but I would be so similar to Saul Goodman. Like, I wouldn't be as corrupt, but like I like that he takes shortcuts to help the little guy sometimes. I appreciate things like that. Anyway, continuing on with the question. I know the pandemic has made it hard for them to shoot, but now they are filming. I need it now. Agreed. Yeah, I need it now too. I think they said it was coming out the first part of 2022. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought that's what they said. James Dozier. I can never stand to watch any Fast and Furious movies. They hurt my head and brain. Yeah, besides like the first one and maybe like 5 on like a rainy day if you just want to watch some like mindless action movie. And then of course, like I mentioned multiple times, if you're feeling a little bit trashy inside, watch Tokyo Drift. And then stop watching it before the climax of the movie. Like I feel like the climax of the movie just makes it feel, and maybe skip across any scene with Little Bow Wow. But other than that, it's watchable. Claudia Rogajon. I watched an old video of yours recently called RoboCop versus Mortal Kombat Legacy Rant. You said some insane shit in the video. It was hilarious. There's some old videos of mine where I forgot that I ever made them, and then I randomly come across them on YouTube because they get recommended to me, and I start watching some of the weird shit I've said 10 years ago, and I'm just like, I start getting scared. I start like shrinking down inside of myself. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, thank you for that though. I don't know what I said. I don't want to know what I said, but I'm glad I said it. Ben Larish. Thanks for the super chat, Ben. No question, but thanks, man. Alex Carr. I heard something that Universal wants a crossover Fast and Furious and Jurassic World, which makes no sense whatsoever, and that sounds bad that they could make the movie super bloated and just all around terrible. Yeah, I don't feel like the creative minds behind Jurassic World would want to water down the franchise and connect it in any way to Fast and Furious. Like, that would be a detriment to like the Jurassic World franchise. I feel like that would really tarnish it for any future use. Like if any crossover would ever make sense, and I know it's owned by 2 separate studios, but like Fast and Furious and like Transformers, that's really all you'd have. Other than that, like Vin Diesel driving Optimus Prime, that's all you have. Like other than that, there's no crossovers that would work. Maybe Thundercats or something. I don't know. Albert Aguilar. What's a movie that disturbed the hell out of you? That disturbed the hell. Okay, as a kid, I remember watching a movie called Sleepers, and it's based on true events starring Kevin Bacon as a creepy youth jail guard that takes advantage of small boys. Either way, it's about a group of these kids in the 1960s who get in trouble and go to a boys' school. And some of the events that happen to them are just like disgustingly terrifying. And I remember watching this as a kid, and I'm like, I was their age when I was watching this, and I'm like, I'm never, ever, ever pushing a hot dog cart down a flight of stairs injuring a man, because I do not want to go to a boys' school with Kevin Bacon. That movie always terrified me as a kid, like, because it's just so nasty and real. Like, anything based in reality I find far more terrifying. Like, when it comes to, like, supernatural horror movies where, like, a ghost jumps out of the toilet and kills you, I'm like, okay, if that happened, so be it. That's a great way to die. But, like, the reality factor in movies has always terrified me more. Like you can take Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or any slasher flick or whatever, and I'm like, okay, it's probably not going to happen, right? But when you take something like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, there are dudes out there that want to put you in a well in their basement and cut off your skin and wear it. There are people like that. My next door neighbor could be that guy. I don't know. But that's what's terrifying to me. What are we? I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going. Your name here. Speaking of boring movies, have you seen Easy Rider? I don't think I've watched all of Easy Rider ever. Like, it was such a movie at the time, like hippies and riding motorcycles and like leather jackets with stringly shit dangling off of them. And whenever I think of like a leather jacket hippie, I always think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Leonardo DiCaprio, he's like, how are they going to know it's me with all this junk? So yeah, I don't think I've ever watched all of Easy Rider. Elliot Cecil, how hyped are you for Many Saints of Newark? The prequel to The Sopranos, I'm sort of excited for. I'm just, at this point, I'll just watch it when it comes out. Prequels are usually hit or miss, but I am looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Mr. 47, the amount of 4K / Blu-rays stock in the stores is getting smaller and smaller, and it sucks. I love digital too, but I wish we could have both. Yeah, it's definitely becoming more niche, the optical home experience of actually buying and watching movies. And it's definitely just for hardcore theater enthusiasts or people who, for some odd reason, don't have streaming services or whatever. I think it'll always be there. At least the popular movies will always be out on 4K. But as far as like those old catalog titles, yeah, it's slowly fading away, isn't it? Even like 10 years ago, it was so different. Don Bruno, how's it going, Don Bruno? I finally caught you, my boy Johnny Flicks, you backstage. How is your lovely lady Amber doing? Well, I'm not dating her any longer, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, but I hope she's doing well. And Godspeed to her. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing well. Thank you for the question. and the bad memories. But I'm doing well, man. Thanks, Don. Claudia Rogajon. It's weird, people either say Too Fast, Too Furious, and Tokyo Drift are the worst, but you know what people never mention and forget about completely is Fast 4. Oh yeah, man. Fast 4 was like a weird transitional Fast and Furious movie that was just so forgettable. Like, there was nothing they did in that movie that was good. Like, there's not one memorable sequence in that movie. There's not one thing that stands out. I don't think anyone could truly tell you the plot to Fast and Furious 4. Think about it. Do you know the plot to that movie? I don't. I don't remember it. Do you? No one does. It was just the most instantly forgettable movie. Just JDD24. Which Fincher film do you think has the best opening credit sequence? Seven, Fight Club, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo all have amazing opening credit sequences, but I think I'd go with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo's opening credits. Yeah, that was the one I was actually going to say as soon as you started, because the Fight Club one is kind of just like a CG, like going through like electronic stuff, and then it's like brain neurons firing, right? If I'm not mistaken. Seven's opening credit sequence, I vaguely remember. So I'd go with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because it has like what's her face covered in like black goo and tar, and the music is just perfect. So absolutely. And The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is one of my favorite movies. That was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had, late at night in a cold, dark theater watching a movie that was truly immersive. So yeah, that was a great opening sequence. Lucas Bernowskiewicz. Speaking of Saul Goodman, did you see Nobody with Bob Odenkirk? Because I always thought that he would low-key be a good action star. I don't know if he's a good action star. I do like him. He sort of just always feels like Bob Odenkirk to me. I did see the movie. I was a little bit underwhelmed by it, to be honest with you. It sort of just felt like a culmination of like 3 different movies in one by the end of it that got weird and kooky. And I like had no urge to ever revisit it again. But yeah, I did see it. Max Neugebauer, you're going to make another Blu-ray/4K collection video soon. Maybe like in the fall. Maybe like closer to, that's like a good wintertime video. So maybe I'll savor the flavor until then. It'll just be the same shit I've done 5 other times, but with some new movies in the mix. So yeah, I could probably do that. Ben LaRouche has become a member. Thanks, Ben. Thank you, man. Yay! #0. Don't just stare at it, eat it. That's the motto of life. I want to make a restaurant called that. Don't just stare at it, eat it. I'm going to make that restaurant. You wait. Insert alias here. Can you pretend to drink blood in the voice of Dracula from Van Helsing while talking semi-sensationally about the car wash? Yeah, very few people will get this reference. Ugh. That's what he does in Van Helsing. Anyway, I went and got a car wash today. And let me tell you the backstory real quick. It rained today, but I went to the car wash right before it rained. Why? Because I have a membership to the car wash. I can get unlimited car washes, as many as I want every month. Why not utilize that? Plus, my car was a little bit dirty, and I knew it was going to rain, but I felt like I needed to get it clean before the rain really hit it. Plus, my car stunk a little bit, so I went and used the vacuum and sprayed some like nice car smelling stuff in there. So I got a car wash today. It always feels like it washes away the sins I've committed. Like, most people go to church. Most people might go to like a confessional, or most people might see a psychiatrist to get something off their mind. I do none of those things. I go to the car wash. I recommend it. Let's go to the next question. Azim the Dream Reviews. How's it going, man? John, have you seen the Jurassic World Dominion 5-minute preview? I have not, because it's only playing in IMAX with Fast 9, and I refuse to fucking watch it. If so, I'm sorry, it's so good you don't even have to watch F9 to see it. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll buy tickets to another movie. I'll walk in and watch the preview of the Jurassic World trailer or sneak peek and get the hell out of there. It's also been leaked on YouTube. Oh, even better. I'll go watch it there. It proves that the movie will be amazing. Well, I don't know if 5 minutes of a sneak peek of like an action sequence proves the movie's going to be great, but it does get me excited to watch it. Jalen Martin, what happened to you and Amber? I don't know. Just we went different directions as usual, you know. It just became, I think we just became friends, if that makes any sense. There you guys go. There's insights to my life. James Dozier. I got Jaws in 4K a few weeks ago and looking forward to watching it. Would you say the only Jaws movie to watch is the first one and nothing else? Yeah, I probably would say that. But if you want to have a good laugh with some friends on a rainy summer night, watch Jaws 3D. It's not good, but it's just like a good, bad movie. So watch Jaws 3D. And if you can get the 3D version of it and you have some like old 3D glasses, even better. Because it's terrible. Mason Arnold. Oh, Mason, thanks for the super chat, man. How does this sound for an SS mission? They go into a city full of Jokerized citizens to find a cure to unjokerize everyone, and the whole city is filled with Joker gas. Not bad, but it sort of reminds me of Batman 89 with the Suicide Squad. Oh, I love that Joker. So yeah, I would say it sort of reminds me of like Batman 89, which is, there's nothing bad about that, but it's just very similar. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Vicky Vale. All right. Okay, guys. I'm gonna take a quick break. So if you guys have any, we got one. Dark Side Mister. Have you watched Loki? I watched the first episode or two of Loki, and it's okay. There's just nothing happening that makes me want to watch the rest of it. For some odd reason, I just like I wanted to like it more than I did. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break, guys. I see questions still coming in, so don't worry. I'm gonna get to all the questions. So if you have questions, get your questions in right now. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to get another drink. I'm going to grab some new Blu-ray movies I left downstairs that I want to talk about. And yeah, let's keep talking about some movies and have a good time. What's today? Is that Monday or Tuesday? What is today? It's Tuesday. I don't even know where I'm at right now. But anyway, I'll be right back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. And as a wise man once said, I'll be back. And we're back. Okay. We got tons of questions still going, and we're going to get to them all real quick, though. I would like to take a moment and talk about some new Blu-ray movies that were sent to me by various studios over the last week or two, and now that is the time we're going to do it. So the first one, I actually just got this, I think, today or yesterday. It's Space Jam on 4K. I know a lot of people like that grew up in the 90s love this movie. I always sort of just liked it, but I was never like a huge basketball fan, and as far as like the Looney Tunes go, I was like, they're okay. I like Bugs Bunny and, you know, Yosemite Sam or whatever. But yeah, I've always liked it, but I was like, it was never one of my favorite movies as a kid. But maybe that's just me. But it's on 4K now. Really awesome. By the way, I did a real quick backstory about Michael Jordan, and some little weird thing just popped up on the screen. I don't know what that was. But anyway, a weird backstory about Michael Jordan and Space Jam is I was doing a sponsored video months ago, and I was going to include Space Jam in this video, but the legal department said you can't mention Michael Jordan and Space Jam because he has a lawsuit going on with Space Jam where he doesn't want his name mentioned in reference to it. I thought that was interesting because, like, here's the cover, here's Michael Jordan. Like, so anyway, I'm curious to see how good that looks on 4K. The next movie I have here is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because sometimes life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, it could pass you by. This is the Steelbook. This is not like the 4K or anything, which I was hoping it would be a 4K. One of my favorite John Hughes movies ever. These are the kind of movies that define who I am and motivated me as a person, because like his mentality of like skipping school, going out, having a good time. That's the kind of stuff that matters in life. Not going to school that day and learning how to do long division or whatever bullshit. This is what life is about. And I just always really enjoyed this movie. And I just remember like this was my excuse to skip school half the time. I was like, Ferris Bueller was doing it. Why can't I? So that's the Steelbook. Cool looking Steelbook. And last but certainly not least, Oompa loompa doobity doop. I want an Oompa Loompa for my Flick Cave. I always did want an Oompa Loompa for my Flick Cave. I don't care if that's right or wrong to say in 2021, and I stand by it. If I could do it, I would. Tell me where to buy one, I will buy one. So anyway, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is probably my favorite musical ever made. Just because it's so weird and bizarre and like so well crafted, and Wilder in these movies, it's like he just makes it. It's near perfection to me. And this is on 4K, and I've heard this looks great. I've heard the colors look great, the resolution's all there. I have yet to sit down and watch it, but yeah, this is something I will definitely check out at some point on 4K, because like just the visual, like where they're like in the chocolate river, like eating the candy, like something about that. Every time I'm just like, I want to go eat candy too and swim in a chocolate river, but not actually drink out of the chocolate river, because the thought of that makes me want to vomit. So anyway, those are the new Blu-ray pickups. If you guys picked up anything new, let me know. Right. Okay, here we go. Watchtower Studios. By the way, I'm only about 5 minutes behind on the questions here. Watchtower Studios. Everybody forgets the awesome blue explosion in the beginning of The Dark Knight, and when will you go back to the theater? I've been back to the theater. I saw Spiral. I saw... What other terrible movies have I seen at the movie theater recently? I feel like the last time I was in the theater was the movie Spiral. But no, I've never been opposed to going back to the movie. I went to see Tenet in the theater. I went to see New Mutants in the movie theater. Just give me a reason to go that I really want to go see a movie, and I'll be there. So anyway, the blue explosion. Yeah, I remember the blue explosion vividly in The Dark Knight. I also remember the very first teaser trailer for The Dark Knight was actually just voices. You've changed things. There's no going back. The mob put up a fight, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like the bat symbol with blue explosions. That's all you saw. I remember that vividly as a teaser trailer. J Val, did you see the new Batman Long Halloween? I have not. I requested it. It never showed up. I do want to watch it because the Long Halloween is one of my favorite storylines, so I do want to get a hold of that. I guess I'll have to VOD it or something. I don't know. I do want to check it out. Mukbang Reviews, Superman Returns became 15 years old. Do you like it at all, or are you more of a Man of Steel guy? If either, thanks. Yeah, it was never big into Superman Returns. I remember that was just like the most boring. Like, how do you go out of your way to make a movie that boring? Like, oh, here's another, real estate scheme by Lex Luthor, which, by the way, we can't talk about the actor who played him anymore, can we? And it just, like, something about it just felt so off to me. I was so boring and, like, disconnected from it. So, yeah, I'm definitely more a Man of Steel guy. Like, when I think of Superman movies, I don't think Man of Steel was perfect, but at least, like, I was excited at points watching it, and plus the score. Throw some Hans Zimmer score on anything, it just makes it that much better. Don Bruno, another question here. My boy Johnny Flicks, now I feel horrible and I feel like an asshole of 2021. It's okay, man. I'm very sorry. You deserve blissful love. Well, thank you, sir. And I'm a piece of shit. No, you're not. How about I take you to Morty's Juicy Steaks, Transcendent Scotch, Posh Cigars, and Emmons? I don't know that word. Emmons? Oh, an amends. I cannot read right now. I'll take some steaks, man. Let's go. You tell me where and when, I'll be there. But it's okay, man. Thank you for the question, nevertheless. There's no right or wrong questions on the live shows. Anything goes. So don't hold back. Just JDD24, favorite movie explosion scene. Ooh, baby. I can tell you my least favorite movie explosion scene, and it's the scene in Wolverine Origins where Hugh Jackman's walking away from the explosion in slow-mo, looking like a generic badass with his shitty CG claws dangling. That's one of my least favorites. My favorite explosion scene in a movie. I mean, we just talked about The Dark Knight, but I like the hospital explosion scene because it has that one take shot of Heath Ledger's the Joker actually pulling the trigger and then jumping in the back of the bus, and they actually did a real explosion. They actually blew up a parking garage that was standing for a hospital. It was like a practical, real thing that was happening. I think that was a really good explosion scene. Also, I guess I just like when buildings blow up. Thank God I'm not saying that on 9/11. But I like the scene. I like the scene in T2 Judgment Day, where they blow up the Cyberdyne Systems building. I like that. I like that whole sequence as well. When Arnold's standing out there with a minigun, just shooting people, and they blow up the building. I always thought that was good, and I always enjoyed the guy who plays Dyson or whatever, when he has his finger on the trigger and the SWAT team come in, because he's the one who actually essentially pulls the trigger, and he's going, I don't know how long I can hold this. I'm like, who dies like that? So anyway, those are a couple of my favorite explosion scenes. Claudia Rojan, were you a more Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry? Yeah, I was kind of neither as a kid. Like, I watched them occasionally, but I wasn't into either of those. As a kid, I was watching like Batman the animated series. Like that was my jam. That's what I would rather watch. Or Doug or something. Ren and Stimpy. Alex Carr says, "Are you looking forward to the new Space Jam with LeBron?" I'm actually really not at all. I don't know how to feel about it. Also, would you recommend watching Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage? I watched a few minutes of that, and it just feels like it should have been like a short film, like a 20-minute short film rather than a feature-length film. Because I watched it and I was like, it's just going to be more of this, isn't it? And someone who saw it was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah, and I love me some Nicolas Cage, but Mukbang Reviews. Do you travel much? Do I travel much? Not recently. I like to go places. The only thing I don't like is the process of getting there. Like, whenever someone's like, oh, let's go here and there, and I'm like, okay, so we have to get on a plane for like 8 hours, set in an airport, transfer flights. Like, I'm just like, that whole process really ruins the experience for me. But if I can get in a car and drive somewhere in like 3 or 4 hours and like witness a cool waterfall in the middle of the woods or something, I'm all about it. Also, it's more open now. People want to see you all over. Go see movies, show us, and let us know what you think. Yeah, those, I guess, more flick trips. But yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. James Doshier, I got the Indiana Jones movies on 4K. Yeah, that's awesome. I talked about that on the last live show. I talked about this for a little bit. But yeah, they're... it smells like Short Round. I love it. Greg Z says, what's your thoughts on the first Tremors movie? I love me some... The first Tremors movie is the perfect B movie ever made. It's one of the... It's so pure and just fun and unapologetic, and just like the chemistry between Kevin Bacon and and what was his name? I forget the other actor's name. And then you had like Bert in the movie. Man, I love it. Always have. Insert alias here. Hans Zimmer music makes me want to consume metal. It does. It makes you want to bang on something with a loud echo, doesn't it? Dum, da-dum, da-da-da-dum. Yeah. I don't know. Nothing was more motivating to go to the gym than Hans Zimmer scores. Like, you just felt like you were like Maximus Decimus Meridius or something. I don't know. That's how I felt. Claudia Rojan. I remember the teaser trailer for Transformers with the Land Rover on Mars. It was clearly Megatron in G1 form, but they changed it in the movie. Yeah, I remember that too. I actually remember the teaser trailer for the first Transformers movie being attached to Clerks 2. That's where I remember first seeing it. And then when you watch Clerks 2, they actually reference a live-action Transformers movie being made. So, but I do remember that as well. Cash the Killer. Heat or Collateral? Also, have you seen Thief? I've seen Thief. I thought I would like it more than I did based on movies like Collateral and Heat. But I would say Heat is probably the more superior epic like heist movie. But Collateral to me is like it's probably my favorite Tom Cruise performance. Just because I like his mentality. Plus that club scene still gets me going. Joshua Garrison. Hello, John. I was married for 9 years, been single for 1. What do you do to pass the time when you're single? Swipe on Bumble and Tinder until your little finger falls off? That's what I do. Age of the Keyboard Warrior. Let's cancel Space Jam 2. I don't want to cancel anything. I just don't give a shit about watching it per se. I don't like canceling anything. I feel like most things should be left there. If someone wants to consume it, they have the option. Don't just get rid of it, because that's like communism. You have to give people a choice. Night King 01. The fight scene from Fast 5 was epic. Vin Diesel and The Rock busting through walls was awesome. Also, every scene with the safe was practical. Yeah, at the end of the movie. That's what was good about it. Like, they weren't flying upside down in cars with jetpacks. Like, they were just, like, driving cars through the streets. I'm like, okay, cool. And then it just got too bombastic and stupid after that. Also, the scene where The Rock and Vin Diesel come face to face. Like, Vin Diesel's clearly standing on, like, a box to make him taller. But anyway, yeah. Just JDD24, what character do you think has the worst luck in movie history? I don't know. The dude from Big Lebowski? Then in a weird way, he had some good luck. The worst luck in movie history? Oh, man. I mean, I could go dark with that. I don't know how dark we're going to get, but I won't do that. I won't do that. How about the best luck? How about we go with the character that has the best luck in movie history? Because that one I can do off the top of my head. Forrest Gump. Did Forrest Gump not accidentally have the best luck of anyone in history? I'm going to go with Forrest Gump. I'd have to think about worst luck, though. Like, I have like a funny answer, then I have like a real answer. But I have to think on it a little bit more. Monster Junkie. Hey, John, so what makes Mad Max Fury Road way better than any Fast and Furious movie? Because there's a story. There's a story there that makes you care about people and what they do and their actions and their motivations. You want to see them succeed. You care about their journey. And the action is part of the story. It enhances that storytelling element with the emotion, rather than just having cars flip over upside down 58 times and Vin Diesel mumbling about family. There's actually like a storytelling element that is happening with the action. So I would say that's probably the difference. Yeah. DD. Have you seen 54 or So? I Married an Axe Murderer with Mike Myers? I have seen I've Married 54. Have I seen 54? Is that really bad movie that came out years ago? What was that called? Was that called 54? The really shitty movie that came out years ago? Wasn't that what it was called? I have seen I Married an Axe Murderer with Mike Myers. I've seen it. I've seen that once or twice. I vaguely remember it. Max Nugenbauer. My least favorite explosion might be in Casino Royale, where Bond shoots the propane tank and gets all the bad guys and they all survive. So dumb. Yeah, he shoots a propane tank behind all of them. It basically makes them all fall over and get a little bit like dusty. And then like everyone just stands up and they're okay. Is that how explosions work? Like, what is this, a Looney Tunes cartoon? I guess that was a little odd when you think about it. But maybe he knew by shooting it, it would just be a distraction. But yeah, somebody should have died. I do agree. Like, somebody should have like been standing a little too close to it and exploded. Like, one casualty felt necessary. Claudia Roguejohn. I like Hans Zimmer, but let's be honest. He reuses the same bits of music in some movies. When you listen to the music, you realize it. Yeah, but you can... There's been a few times where John Williams had similar little scores that were very reminiscent to one of each other. The only difference is with Hans Zimmer music, you can't hum to it. Like John Williams, you can hum to all of his scores. Hans Zimmer, like the hum would be like, dum, dum, like, so it's a little bit harder. But I do agree, there's some recycling going on every once in a while. Mukbang reviews. I loved Serial Mom. Do you have a favorite female-led killer movie? Hustlers, Thelma and Louise, love you, Flick. Well, thanks, man. I love you too. I would say probably like Basic Instinct, maybe, if I had to pick like a woman who I wanted to kill me. I'd maybe go. Was she technically a serial killer? I don't remember. Dark Side Master says cancel culture is no more. I don't know about that. John beat cancel culture. I mean, I don't think I've ever done anything that would justify being canceled. I don't feel like I ever have. And by the way, if you guys are members of the channel, feel free to chime in right now. I'm looking for members' questions right now. Oh, here's one. Chris says, John, you mentioned paid sponsorships pay well, so why don't you try and get signed for like 2 or 3 of those every month? That is more stable source of income than crypto, and it's easy money. You'd be surprised. It's not as easy as you think sometimes. Sometimes it becomes really mind-numbingly frustrating. So yeah, I actually have a few of them in the works right now. There's a lot that I say no to just because I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm just not. And then sometimes it gets to a point where like you agree to do something and they start asking for way more at the last second. And just out of principle, I say no. I'm like, you're just asking for too. Like some of these sponsorship companies, like I'm okay with promoting something that I think is useful or cool, or somebody might have a use for it, or I like it, or I've used it. But they get to a point where they start wanting you to read off like a teleprompter, like you're a news anchor or something. And I'm just like, that's not how I want to say it. And that's not what I'm going to say. So there's been times where I've recorded it and they're like, no, say it like this. I'm like, no. Like, why? Like, how about you just make the commercial? I'll show the commercial on my channel, and then I'll let you say it how you want to. So that's been always a point of contention sometimes in the past. But yeah, I do agree with you. Sponsorships, like I've said, I've always aimed to do sponsorships in the past because YouTube ad revenue, I've never relied on it. It's up and down. I don't trust it, and I never have, and I never will. Mitch Smokes. The company Limited Run Games has released Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and it's a sequel to Ghoul Patrol in real physical copies for PS4, Switch, and even SNES. Really? I've heard about that. Is it just a re-released? Or what did they change? Now I love me some Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I don't have a PS4 though. I'd have to play it. Can you play it on PC? If you can play it on PC, I'll look into it. I have a classic SNES, but how do you put it on that? I don't know. I'll look into it, man. Insert alias here. Hook might be the most underrated soundtrack. Oh, Hook, man. That's a great soundtrack. Nothing makes me feel more whimsical and upbeat than the soundtrack to Hook. Oh, yes. Give it to me now. More Flick trips in Fort Wayne. Yeah, that's where the Flick trips will be taking place eventually in the next couple weeks. So, we got just JD24 thoughts on City of Angels. Seen it once. I vaguely remember it, so to give you any real insight to you would be a lie. DJ Crack Mix. That's a great name. Sorry, John. I'm so tired though. What do you do when you have barely no energy? When I have no energy, I just go to sleep. For days, or I lay down and rewatch Game of Thrones season 1 through 7, and then I cry myself to sleep, or I chug a Bang energy drink. Sometimes when I have no energy and I have to be up, I just force it. I just start listening to some good music, getting hyped up, and caffeine never hurts. So, Amray M, good luck with your move. What's your least favorite thing to move? Mine is the OLED, too thin. P.S. I'll take Space Jam off your hands. Let me watch it once. I like the first Space Jam. I do. I like it. It's nostalgia, but I don't have a deep nostalgia vibe with it. Least favorite thing to move. Probably, yeah, the OLED, because what I do every time I move, because the OLED is so thin, it's made to break. It's just made to break. Why can't make it thicker? It's fine. I'm okay with a 2-inch thick TV. I can live with that. That's okay. But I always buy a special box. You can buy it like U-Haul, and it has like foam inserts in it. So I always buy the same box for like $27 at U-Haul every couple years when I move to put my TV in it, so it's safe. So yeah, I do agree with you. Moving the TV is always the scariest thing. Yeah. Also, that this my movie shelf back here has moved with me every time I've moved since 2012. And that thing is, it's a little chipped, it's a little damaged, just like me, but it's still going strong. It still does the job. So that's another one of my least favorite things to move. Anything heavy is never fun to move. Monster Junkie says, have you seen Monster with Charlize Theron? I have seen. Just $10 more. Yeah, speaking of Pretty Woman, based on a hooker of the heart of gold, Monster is a true story. Okay, that's how it would really go down. Yeah, that movie's... I like movies like that. It's like seedy and real and like kind of like grungy looking. So yeah, I did like it. Obed Orzaga, did you get your car fixed? Also, you got to watch 000 on Amazon. It's amazing. Gives us Sicario vibes. What is your Chipotle order? You just asked a lot of questions right there. Okay, let me remember to watch 000 because I do want to see that. I did get my car fixed. Thank you. I hit something in the road the other day with my car. I got it fixed. And then I actually just got Chipotle last night. Thank you for asking. So what I get for Chipotle, I get double chicken protein, rice, beans, all the veggies. I fill that bad boy up. Always double wrap 2 tortilla wraps. Because the first one, if you just get one, it's going to get soggy. It's going to fall apart on you. You don't want that. 2 wraps on your burrito. Keep it nice and safe and secure. Don't say I never helped you in life. Have you seen the new Shang-Chi trailer? There's a surprise at the end. Are you referring to Abomination? Because I did notice that, and I'm looking forward to it. I always thought Abomination was wasted. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Ben LaRouche, thoughts on Death Proof? Was not a big fan of Death Proof at all. The concept sounds really cool, but the execution it felt like a movie, just like an indulgent Tarantino flick. But the concept was great. Oh, you like my shirt? Yeah, by the way, Magical and Mystical, the shirt, you guys can check this bad boy out. The link is down below. If you guys do pick one up, tweet me a picture wearing this bad boy, and I will share that shit. Yeah, this is probably my favorite shirt ever made. Just look at that. That is, like, if ever Magical Mystical, that is the proper shirt. Plus, there's a little Flick Pick logo up there. It's subtle. It even has a watermark. Okay. Have you watched the Hitchcock film Frenzy? I have not. There's a lot of Hitchcock films I have not watched, and I've always had it on the bucket list. Amaray M, I just sit in the back seat and hold on to the OLED for dear life. Thanks for the advice for the next movie. Yeah, always buy the special TV box at like a moving store. Best recommendation I can give you. Okay, the next one comes insert alias here. Oh, no. Z White. Missed you, homie. Do you like Black Swan? Top 10 for me. I watched Black Swan once. It's not top 10 for me. I don't even think it's one of my favorite Darren Aronofsky films. I thought it was okay, but I'd much like if you're gonna watch a Darren Aronofsky film, I'd say The Wrestler is one of my favorites of all time, easily. Because that's just like, it feels like a movie that was made for my entertainment. Another one of those kind of like seedy, kind of realistic movies. So yeah, Black Swan's not one of my favorites. All right, guys, I'm just going to answer just a few more questions. I'm going to wrap up this live show because it's getting late. I'm getting tired, and I will do probably another live show tomorrow night because I felt like I owe you guys a few more of these before I start packing up things and getting ready to move. And plus 4th of July is next week. So hopefully you guys don't blow off your hands lighting firecrackers. Wrap it twice. Got it. Absolutely. The best advice I'll give you. Wrap it twice. Think once, wrap twice. double chicken, double meat. All right. One more question here. Mukbang reviews. I hate moving. Monster was excellent. Did you see The Girl in the Third Floor? It was quite good on Netflix. I have not seen that. It's a Netflix movie, or is it just on Netflix? Girl in the Third Floor. I have not seen that yet. I feel like someone referenced that once before. Requiem for a Dream is my favorite Darren Aronofsky film. It's definitely a great movie to make you never want to do drugs. That's for sure. The Jennifer Connelly scenes were also pretty intense. Yeah. Thoughts on Mickelson in Indy 5? He plays a bad guy in every movie, so I'm not surprised that he'll probably play some kind of villainous backstabbing role in this movie as well. Rocky Balboa says, you missed my super chat. I'm going to scroll back, Rocky. I'm going to look for it, man. How long ago did you ask it? Because it's not popping up on my end. You asked about the Basketball Diaries. I answered that. So was there something else? Rocky, where is it? That's the only one I see from you, Rocky. If you had something else, just type it in right now, and I'll try to find it. Please do it quick, though. Amory M says, Night John, thanks for the stream. Well, thank you guys for joining and watching. I'm just going to answer a few more. Darkside Master says, Tobey Maguire has come back to acting in movies right now. He's filming Babylon and probably No Way Home. I'm pretty sure he's filming No Way Home as well, too. I've never been a big Tobey Maguire fan, though. He always seems like such an asshole in real life. Will Tim Roth play Abomination again? I would imagine so. Why wouldn't he? I hope he does. I thought he was great for the role. What movie are Cool Duder? I remember watching Cool Duder first. He was one of the first YouTube channels I ever watched back in like 2008. So that's like, I got to go old school, and I'd go with him. Hey guys, welcome to my DVD collection update for September 4th, 1942. Do you like the Karate Kid sequels? Not really, to be honest with you. It's the first one or nothing for me. That was the question. Yeah, the Karate Kid sequels. Yeah, I don't really enjoy anything outside of the first one. Okay, I'm gonna answer one more question here. Am I gonna answer two? I might have two. Okay, I'm gonna answer two more questions here, and then I'm gonna wrap up the live show. Claudia Rojan forgot to say, bringing Han back to F9 kind of ruins his death in Tokyo Drift, and it kind of has no weight anymore. And the explanation is ridiculous. At this point, bringing back someone from the dead is like the least over the top thing in these movies. Like, it's just, at this point, they could bring back anyone from the dead. I'd be like, that's more realistic than what just happened with that car. So at this point, I just don't care. They don't care. Why should I care? But I always did like Han from Tokyo Drift. I always thought he was like a cool guy. He was like somebody you want to be friends with. Maybe that's just me. 1901. One of my favorite explosions is in Demolition Man. They blow up the building for the opening, and it was awesome. We knew how accurate the future was. Oh, absolutely. And one day, the only fast food restaurant will be Taco Bell, based on Demolition Man. And I hope it's true. But anyway, that's a good guilty pleasure movie. Demolition Man. That is a good guilty pleasure movie. It's terrible, but so good. I want John to get massive again. No, when I get massive, my face gets bloated, and I don't like the way it looks. Thoughts on Contagion? One of the first movies, I remember watching that when the pandemic really hit hard, and I was like, ooh. And I, like, part of me was like, is it going to get this bad? And then it didn't whatsoever get that bad. What camera are you using for your live streams? I'm using my Sony a6400. I use a 4K cam link to hook it up so it looks good. And this is the same camera I use to make like my YouTube videos. So yeah, I just I'm all about like the camera quality. I think it needs to be good, especially for there's nothing I hate more than watching like a live stream with like a shitty webcam. I can't get into it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the questions here. But as always, guys, thank you guys so much for the questions, just hanging out, watching the videos. If you guys want to give me, if you want to, and you don't even have to, but if you want to, give the video a thumbs up. It does help that stupid YouTube algorithm. And we do have one last question, and this will be the last question. John, get those massive. Look at these. Look, I still got some arm juice going, man. It didn't all die. There's a little something left. Okay. I don't leave anyone behind. There's 2 questions left. No more questions, guys. No more questions. I'm going to wrap up these last 2 questions. Yeaman John, whatever happened to Joseph Gordon-Levitt back in 2010s? He was everywhere with a lot of movies like Inception, Looper, 50-50, Dark Knight Rises, Don John, and said to be Hollywood's next big star. I completely agree with you. I thought like he was going to be like the next, not Tom Cruise, but like next Matt Damon or something. Like I thought he was going there. And then he just disappeared, right? By 2015, he just disappeared, didn't he? I mean, he's still doing a few movies here and there, but it's odd. I don't know if like he got too old for the roles that they wanted him to play. That is true. So true. I mean, at least he can say he had a great like 5 years there in Hollywood. I really enjoyed Don John, and I was hoping he would direct more movies, but I think it wasn't as successful as they had hoped. Maybe he has directed something since then. I can't think of what it is, but yeah, I'd like to see him in more movies. I always thought he was like a good actor. Rich the Savior, John, why is your skin so bronze? You're practically glowing. Also, good to see you back, buddy. Well, thank you, man. Just the lighting, just some good lighting. I'm a bronze god. I don't know. I'm an Oompa Loompa. That's what I am. But thank you. Thank you for the question, Rich. Claudia Rogujon, Demolition Man isn't bad. It's just trying to be silly. Well, when you wipe your ass with seashells, that's when you know the movie was ahead of its time. But yeah. All right. Rich the Savior. Yep. No, Rich, I got your question, man. Thank you. Thank you for the question. I'm a bronze god today, apparently. Thank you so much. Jacked up on Sour Patch Kids, absolutely. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for joining in. I'm going to do another one of these tomorrow. I will do another live stream tomorrow night. I will be here tomorrow night, so don't miss it. What time do you think is a good time to do the live stream? I feel like if I started at 10 o'clock East Coast time, then everyone on the West Coast is like at a good, so I don't know. What time do you guys think I should do this tomorrow? Claudia Rogujon says Gordon-Levitt took time off to raise his kids. Is that what he did? Okay. That makes sense. That would make sense. Okay. Yeah, it's like, why did he disappear? I don't know. He was on such a roll. It's like, you're going to be the next Batman, but not really. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Stay safe. I will see you guys before 4th of July. I'm going to tell you about some 4th of July stories tomorrow. So look out for another live stream. Take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't get scared now.